Hey everybody, welcome to the other episode of my random video. Today we're gonna talk about the specific problem I just kind of got through as well, which is dealing with frustration, right? I've been very frustrated the past few days. Not really sure what happened. I think spontaneously, like in our life, sometimes I have this moments a lot of times where I just suddenly feel frustrated for no reason. It possibly be something like stress build up from all over the places that I don't know about, or I didn't notice until it got so big, or it might be something that like an emotion that I kind of feel like for a very long time ago and I didn't really resolve it. And well, brain kind of work in a very weird way, and over the time, like even it passed for very long, one day it's just like recalling old memories that you would just have this emotion suddenly up again. So I think learning how to deal with frustration is basically something that is very important to do. And I personally love a method which is the most simple method. It's just to allow yourself to cry. Crying is a very powerful act. In my whole life, whenever I feel frustrated, whenever I feel sad, or I feel anxious, in a lot of times, I have a very natural tendency to cry. Well, but it isn't something that is so good since like back then for me. When I was younger, I tend to think crying is a sign of weakness because that is what older people tell us when we're born. I think specifically in Asian family, you feel sad, you kind of cry, and your parents would just basically tell you to not to cry. And that kind of reinforces you to believe that crying isn't something good. And eventually, whenever you feel frustrated or whatever feeling that you come upon, that you are so overwhelmed and you started crying or you feel like crying, you try to oppress that particular action that is very natural to your body. So it is not really good because of how you psychologically refer crying to something that is bad. So the first step is basically getting over the psychology of something like that first and allow yourself to cry. I think the first 2 times you're doing this wouldn't be something that you just able to get right along, but I think you will be able to actually slowly to lean into this particular action of crying after you get to understand yourself a little bit more. So first 2 times basically you kind of need to brute force yourself to cry, and that is what I do. So previously when I start doing this, whenever I feel very frustrated, I feel like crying, but my natural tendency tell me not to do so. I will try to find media's contents that, like for example videos or whatever it is, to force myself to cry through those mediums. So it actually helped me to slowly understand myself on how I'm crying. And when the crying act is going on, I would tell myself it's okay to cry because in itself is a very natural process in our body, in our brain, to basically do this action. And one fun fact for everybody is that whenever you cry, your brain actually releases something called endorphin, where basically it's kind of like a stress hormone and stuff that basically help you to feel better afterwards. So in itself is a very good thing because that is how our body genetically has been customized to do so. So you just need to reinforcingly tell yourself every time you cry that crying is okay because it's helping you and it's not a sign of weakness but a sign of strength. And over time you will slowly get used to it. And right now, like for me, I haven't really able to say I have reached, similar to the last video, I'm not a perfect person per se or anything, so I haven't been to the state where I can just cry and like really control my emotion very well. But whenever I feel really frustrated, at least I know how to deal with it in a way that is good for me, and which is basically crying. So I think we as a society kind of need to start embracing the natural actions that humans have. When we're born, when we're a baby, when we feel something that's not right or anything, we feel sad or something, we feel frustrated or something, it's very natural for us to cry. So it is a very, very natural action. I've been saying this so many times in this video, it doesn't even make sense anymore. But yes, that is basically what it is. So I think we will need to embrace this thing ourselves, but changing the societal and the custom of like people isn't that easy. So the only thing we can do right now is to basically understand ourselves, apply it into our life ourselves. And when someone else is feeling frustrated, something else, you have a actual test proven methods for them to actually help them to deal with their situation, whether it's crying or something. But do remember to re-emphasize this, is that you will need to firstly take some time, take a few times of this crying to kind of reinforce your brain to let it know that crying is good for yourself in the beginning. If not, you'll be continuously going into a spiral where you cry and then you feel worse and getting the worst mood. It doesn't really help that way. So do remember to take care of that first. And that's all for today. Thank you.